The reason why Apex is so hard is because the game is incredibly conditional, okay? What do I mean by conditional? I mean that even if you are better than someone, it doesn't always matter because the main thing that determines your success in Apex is the condition that you're in or the situation that you're in. There are multiple things you can do as a player to improve your situation and to keep your situation as best as possible, but there's going to be times when there is like the best thing you can do is get 10th place, right? Like the game is just like sometimes the game just works against you. And the best situation possible for you and the best outcome you can get is 10th place, right? Or it's 4th place or 5th place or, whatever place, but it's not winning because of, X, Y, Z. And it's a bunch of things that you can't control. And every single battle royale has this, right? Every single battle royale has a bunch of things that you can't control, but you feel it especially in Apex because the game is very limited. The game is limited as to into what players can do in certain situations. You don't always have an answer when you get caught off guard, right? You don't always have an answer when two of your teammates go down and you're in a 1v3 situation, right? There's not always an answer for that because you don't have the tools as a player in the game to create an opportunity in order for you to win those situations. And this is just the game design. This is just how the game is made. And so the reason why it becomes so frustrating to play is because you'll find yourself in these situations where you feel like you should win because you're better, but you don't because the game, you just can't. It's just literally impossible for you to succeed because the game doesn't give you the tools to, right? In games like Fortnite, you have building, which is like a catch-all mechanic to literally win any situation that you are in, ever. But your opponents also have building. So it's like a back and forth in between who is better at the mechanic, right? Which makes the game a lot more satisfying to play, but also much harder. Right? In Warzone, the whole gunplay is completely balanced differently. So even if you're in a bad situation, it's still possible for you to win if you're better than your opponents at gunplay because of the way gunplay is balanced. In Apex, gunplay is balanced to where on every single gun, you're pretty much going to need the entire mag to kill someone, right? In Warzone or in COD in general, you just need 10 bullets, right? And guns have much bigger mags in COD, right? There's guns in COD that have 60 fucking bullets in them. And they're like R301s, right? But in Apex, the most you'll get in a gun is 30 bullets. And so in Apex, most of the time, you need your entire mag to kill somebody. And that's if you don't miss any shots. If you miss some shots, you have to swap guns. It's very unfeasible to kill multiple people in a gunfight without downing one, resetting, healing up, and then fighting another one, right? It's very hard to take on 1v2 without healing in between, which is also why the game is a team-based battle royale because they want squads of 3 to go up against squads of 3. And, this creates a more interesting dynamic in your fights because you have teammates. Whereas most battle royales, you'll play solo. And it's okay, if you get shot in the back, you get shot in the back. It's whatever. So the game becomes incredibly frustrating because not only is it balanced around having teammates and it's also a BR, but there's just not enough tools for you to win all the time. And there's also just many, many things that are out of your control. So the sooner that you can accept the fact that you're not always going to win, and the game is not always going to let you win, because that's how the game is designed, you'll become a lot less frustrated playing the game, and you can just instead focus on performing your best in every single time, and just enjoy the game for the game instead of enjoying the game to win the game, if that makes sense. You have to be much more accepting of your losses in this game for sure. Because there's not always something to improve on, I guess, unless you try to hindsight your situation into giving yourself better situational awareness. But even then, it's incredibly difficult. And don't get me wrong. If you are bad at this game, winning and losing is on you. I'm not saying that you can blame the game all the time. But once you get good enough at this game is a lot less about how well you play it and much more about the situations that you find yourselves in. You know what I mean? If you're not at a certain level in this game, you're losing because of your skill, right? But once you kind of get good enough at this game, it's less about how good you are and more about just the situations that you're in, right? And so, like, yeah, you can do your best to kind of like improve the situation that you've been given by the game, but sometimes your best is gonna look like 10th place. You know, sometimes your best is not gonna be the result you want. It's really just a numbers game. And so it's just a lot less about being capable of winning and more about just putting yourself in the best situation you can put yourself in, right? And that's not to say that like, oh, I should be a higher rank than I am. I deserve to be like fucking Apex Predator or whatever. Like, no, like I am not the best at this game, and there's plenty of things I can do to like improve and like be a better player at this game. But I think my improvement rate is kind of capped by the nature of this game. I feel like in a lot of other games, like I can get better faster because my skill has more impact on my success. Whereas in this game, there are games where it's like no matter how good I am, like I'm not gonna like win, you know? And so those games like slow down my learning process because there's like very little to take away from it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If y'all have any thoughts, make sure to leave them in the comments. And if you want to see more, make sure to sub to the channel. You know what I mean? Tap in with me. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs, so let's make it happen. Catch y'all in the next one.